Elizabeth Warren, of course, is known for going after the banks, and now that she's senator from Massachusetts, she's not just going after the banks, she's doing her job of going after the regulators. So that's the real problem, because the regulators have done nothing to go after the big banks. Now, she'd questioned the regulators before, and there was this great moment where she'd asked them, hey, when's the last time you brought top banking executives to trial? And she had all the regulators lined up, and not one of them could answer, because it was so far back, no one remembered the last time they had brought a big banking executive to trial, right? So this time around, she's going to ask them, well, we just had a deal where you protected the bankers again, but you know that what they were doing in foreclosing on houses was wrong. They shouldn't have been foreclosing on those houses, and your job is to protect the consumers. So she's going to question them on that count, and it's going to be awesome.
Regarding the basic data and the processes of the independent foreclosure review, we made 14 specific requests to you in January, and despite multiple letters back and forth and multiple meetings, you have provided only one full response, 3 partial or minimal responses, and no response to 9 of our requests.
So here she is taking them to task for, hey, you know, you're supposed to be accountable to us. You're supposed to be part of the government here holding the banks accountable. We're asking you, are you doing your job? We're getting nothing from you. Now, she's talking to Danielle Stepano from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency and Richard Ashton of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, and these are supposed to be regulating the banks. Now let's watch what happens next.
You now have evidence in your files of illegal activity, I take it, for some of these banks. Now, if a family wants to bring the lawsuit, you're both lawyers, would it be helpful, if you're going against one of these big banks, would it be helpful for these families to have the information about their case that's in your files? Mr. Ashton?
It would be helpful, obviously, to have information related to the injury. Yes, it would.
Okay. So do you plan to give the families this information?
I think that's a decision that we're still considering. We haven't made a final decision yet.
So you have made a decision to protect the banks, but not a decision to tell the families who were illegally foreclosed against?
We haven't made a decision about what information we would provide to individuals. That's true, yes.
Mr. Stepano?
We're in the same position.
The embarrassment that he had in that split second
At the end?
at the end,
Yeah, he looks like he's going to cry a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah.
that was awesome.
It wasn't
That-
embarrassment, it was shame.
Shame, that's what it was. That's exactly right. And he had to say it. He had to say, you're right.
Yeah,
we have protected the banks, and we have not given the information that they needed to protect the consumers who were the victims.
Right.
Yes, you're right. That's exactly what we've done, the exact opposite of what we were charged with doing.
It's great to see Elizabeth Warren doing this. You know, we talked about this in our meeting before the show, because back in February she went after the regulators, as you mentioned at the top.
Oh, the quote?
Yeah.
Oh, the quote's great. Go ahead.
So there was a described as a top executive, a top sort of banking executive, emailed this to Politico, and said, while Senator Warren had every right to ask pointed questions at today's Senate Banking Committee hearing, her claim that nobody believes that bank books are honest is just plain wrong. Perhaps someone ought to remind the senator that the campaign is over and she should act accordingly if she wants to be taken seriously.
Ben, you are so right for bringing that quote back. Right there in a nutshell is the expectation in Washington.
Yeah.
Look, you run progressive during the campaign. Of course, we understand you have to trick people into getting their votes. But once the election's over, if you want to be taken seriously, you come back into the fold and you do what the corporations and the banks want you to do.
Yeah, because what does being taken seriously mean? I guess being taken seriously mean is you want us to support you. You want us to flow some of our money to you. You want to be in the crowd that or worst, are we going to target you? Mm-hmm. Are we going to target you to try to get you out? You want to be taken seriously, because here's who she's definitely being taken seriously by: Americans.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah, that's why people love her, right? And what he's also saying, and it's an implicit part of Washington, is, now you're in that committee. Wouldn't you like to be the head of that committee? Now, understand that if you go along being unserious like this, you have no chance of being head of that committee. Now, the greatest example of this was the House Ways and Means Committee. At one point, the Democrat in charge of it steps down. It was Charlie Rangel, actually. He had to step down because of ethical issues. The next in line of seniority was Pete Stark, possibly the most progressive member of the House.
From out here in California.
Right. And that was, a couple of years ago. And I said, there's no way they're going to make Pete Stark the head of the most powerful committee in the House. Pete Stark's a real liberal. He lasted 1 day, literally 1 day. And he was made to step down and say, I am not right for this role. And in his place was put someone friendly to the corporate interests. So that's what they mean by you want to be taken seriously or you want to be like Pete Stark. He's not a serious guy. He's the longest he'll ever last, even if it is absolutely his job under seniority rules, under every rule, you'll only last 1 day, okay? And now for most senators, I gotta be the head of the committee. I gotta be that power. And by the way, also more donations, because whoever's the head of the committee gets more donations, more likely to get reelected, etc. But they don't know who they're dealing with here. I don't think Elizabeth Warren gives a damn if she's the head of that committee, if she's got to sell out to be the head of the committee.
Obama was elected to the Senate in 2004, right? He took office in 2005, is that right? Elizabeth Warren was
elected.
She was just elected
In 2012.
in 2012. So 2004, 2008, Obama ran in 2008. Inexperienced senator, 4 years of service. 2016, she'll have 4 years in the Senate.
Well, I'll tell you what, every progressive in the country would be just beside themselves in excitement if that happened, right? I mean, Hillary Clinton, what are we talking about Hillary Clinton? I mean, we voted against Hillary Clinton, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, because she was too establishment. It's not like she got less establishment since then. So
No, but there's some possibility that we were wrong.
No.
Yeah.
I maintain we were never wrong about Hillary Clinton. We were just wrong about Obama.
No,
it turns out he was even more pro-establishment.
No, I don't think we
than
were
her.
wrong about Hillary Clinton either, but we might have been wrong about who was more establishment.
Yes,
like she actually
yes.
might be less
Right.
than Obama.
Right, but it's damning with faint praise. One more from Elizabeth Warren
Yeah.
here, because she's not done kicking their ass yet.
I just want to make sure I get this straight. Families get pennies on the dollar in this settlement for having been the victims of illegal activities or mistakes in the bank's activities. You let the banks, and you now know individual cases where the banks violated the law, and you're not going to tell the homeowners, or at least it's not clear yet whether or not you're going to do that.
We haven't made a decision on what we're going to tell the homeowners.
People want to know that their regulators are watching out for the American public, not for the banks. And the only way that we can evaluate whether or not you're doing your job is if you make some of this information publicly available. And so far, you're not doing that. And without transparency, we can't have any confidence either in your oversight or that the markets are functioning properly at all.
I want her to run for president. Let's start. But like seriously, what are we talking about? Why not?
Yeah, and it's interesting that you set up that contrast because she's the opposite of Obama in how she's handled her first term. Now, President Obama went with the Hillary Clinton playbook. Keep your head down. Don't ever do anything. Don't challenge Bush. Say things about Bush like, oh, can you believe Bush is so bad? Let's get change. But don't introduce any legislation. Don't speak out in committee hearings. Shut up, right? And it worked for him. Right or wrong, it worked for him. She's saying, and she's not wild. She's so. That's like the most rational person in the world.
Right.
And so, but in terms of whether she's serious or not, boy, is she serious, because she does not go wade into territory that she's not totally well versed in. So she's not going into other committees like guns blazing, hey, let me tell you what's happening about Botswana, right? She knows this, and nobody knows it better than her, and if she knows it, she's going to say, yeah, of course I'm going to stick my head up. That's why I got elected. The whole point was to represent people and to not let them get away with it. So she's going with that strategy, and I think that it's the right strategy. And obviously, as you point out, 4 years is not too short a period of time.
No.
So up and at 'em.